Hey, Jody here. For this video, I'm in JD's shop and we are making a welder cart out of a Harbor Freight hand truck. So you're going to see a little layout and cutting on the PlasmaCam, fit up, tack, weld the cart, and then at the end of the video, I've got a clip of JD using the cart on site at one of the factories that he works in. You'll get an idea on how useful the cart is, as well as the scope of work that JD does a lot. So let's do it. JD is designing this thing from scratch within the PlasmaCam software. It's called Design Edge. So there was no drawing or anything imported. He's just doing everything with the tools given right here. Now we're going to do this with the PlasmaCam. You could absolutely cut out cardboard templates and fit it up with tape on the cart till you got something that worked, and then just cut it with a hand plasma or grinder, combination of the two, bandsaw. There's lots of ways to do this, but with the PlasmaCam, it's just super easy. So you're just using this thing basically as a drawing board. You're not even, you got a rough sketch here, I see, but and you're drawing the part in here, and then just cutting some scrap to kind of get things dialed in.
Yeah, cut a test piece before I cut, modify that as needed, and then with like a grinder, grind out this, smooth this up, and then come back in here and do the same thing on the drawing.
So there's about 10 total parts that make up this thing, and so he's got them all nested here to take up the least amount of material. And it's time to hit the button and cut parts. Now this is sped up a bit here, but not that much. It was a really fast operation. I didn't put a stopwatch on it or anything, but I don't think it took much more than a minute to cut out all 10 parts. Super quick. Not much cleanup either. Using the Burr King sander and a bench grinder with a wire wheel pretty much took care of the dross and is ready to weld. This is a Fireball Tools square, and JD's been using these a lot lately. He's got it clamped down to the Stronghand Build Pro table, and when you're working by yourself, which he most of the time does, it's good to have tools like this to free up an extra hand. Using 0.25 MIG wire at about 20 volts and about 320 inches a minute on the wire feed speed. And that's just pretty much how all of it goes. Corner to corner, a tack weld every 2 or 3 inches. It's ready for welding out. Got to do a fit check first. It's always smart to do before you weld something out. This one's a little tight, but kind of want that. You kind of want it to be tight, and those slots fit right down in that cross brace. So they give you a little bit of room to run a little downhill right in there.
Yeah, that right there's enough to hold it.
Yeah, just a little.
Get it how you want it, nice and square.
This little piece here is to hang a couple of angle grinders off of. Thought that would be a nice touch. It boxes everything in there and makes everything rigid and plenty strong. And then the bottom piece looks something like this. Lots of ways you could go about this, but it's supported. It just kind of fits itself in there. It's supported on the axle. There's some good Harbor Freight tires, right? Mm-hmm. Good old Harbor Freight. Yeah. So there's plenty of area to get some weld here, either on that thicker vertical member or on the sleeve where the axle goes through. One or the other or both. So you can see that just slides right in there and kind of fits itself up. That's mostly due to JD's design. It just made it so that it kind of put together like a puzzle, and there's not much of any way you can screw it up. So just a couple more pieces here. This is the piece that the machine will set on, and that being welded from underneath, just stitch welded, will stiffen everything up. And time to put a few little lips on the corners after we get it nice and square and tacked up.
Takes every little bit of it off.
Boy, it does. So these pieces are just little tabs to kind of keep the welder on the platform. And wound up after the fact, after all was said and done, having to modify them a little bit because they were a little bit long, a little bit tall. They kept the cabinet door from opening for the spool of wire on the welder. But a little quick trim, and everything was all good. That's about the end of it right there. Once everything is welded out, that's it. Those two holes there are for TIG wire canisters. If you're going to do lift arc TIG with this thing, like a lot of guys that do sanitary tubing might. And now it's just a matter of getting a few tacks on the outside corners here. This is a little piece that's going to hold a couple of grinders. It doesn't take much welding because it's all a pretty tight fit. So just a little bit of stitch weld here and there, and that locks everything in place. Again, this is 14 gauge steel. 025 wire is a real good choice for it. You could do it with 030, 035, all of it no problem, but get nice crisp starts, you know, on that stuff with this small wire. This thing is shaping up. It's going together really well. You can see a lot of progress, almost done. Just a matter of just a few little welds going up underneath and welding that platform on just with a couple of 1-inch stitch welds will be plenty to hold it. So this little cart will hold a couple of angle grinders, a couple of tubes of TIG wire, welder, cylinder, and a few more things when we get finished. Now, one thing about this that I noticed is that, you know, you have to have the cylinder on there to load the welder on there. Also, this is a new product I just added to my store. I thought it would make sense to show it here because we're trying to make this cart as functional and versatile as possible. So it's called the Hel-Hook, and it's a place to hang your helmet, purge hose, adjustable wrench, all the stuff that you need and never can find. So it's kind of all one-stop, you know, one-stop shop cart here with a lot of versatility. There's a tube of TIG wire in there. And I also ordered one of those clamshell covers that you can have on the valve while you're wheeling it around, just to make sure it's compliant. Hadn't come in yet, but I'll show it in a future video. Yeah. Just a couple days after this was done, JD put this cart to use on a job on site inside a factory, and I'll show a few clips of that. He had the camera running so you can kind of see how it works. He's going to be running, powering a Powermig 210MP off of that generator welder there in the back of his truck, and running about 100 foot of extension cord to do it. So unloading the cylinder, the welder, the cart, and then putting everything on the cart. And then that'll let him wheel everything all at once over to the stairs that he's going to repair. Now, the reason for the gas here, he could be using stick or self-shielded flux core, but JD is a big believer in dual shield flux core for penetration as well as just productivity. Puts down a lot of metal quick. It's a super robust process, and you don't have to do as much cleaning, and there's no stopping in between stick rods to change out or anything like that. So when you're in business for yourself, all these things make a lot of difference in how quickly you can knock out a job like this. Well, he's welding some cracks, and then he's welding stiffeners underneath these treads to get them straight and make them stiff where they won't bend, and you won't have to come back and ever fix them again. JD has posted quite a few pictures on his Instagram account and on YouTube of going back and repairing hardwire welds, MIG welds that were too cold or the metal wasn't prepped yet, but I don't think he's ever fixed a dual shield flux core weld. So big believer in it. It's a very good process for stuff like that. You can check out this Hel-Hook at weldmonger.com. Thanks for watching.